Lindenwood head coach Kris Bertsch. Coach, the preseason is going on. We're almost ready for the regular season. Just talk about your thoughts going into this 2025 campaign.
Yeah, we're excited. We got a big class coming in, probably the biggest one we've had since I've been here. But very, very diverse class. We have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, grad students, transfers, internationals, freshmen, guys from our camp. You name it. We plugged a lot of holes where we had some losses. We've had injected some additional talent, but couldn't be more excited about the year ahead. And we just want to keep taking strides forward. And I think last year we had a really good year, finished second place with 11 wins, but we know the league's going to be pretty competitive, so it'll be tough this season, but we hope to take a couple more steps forward.
So walk me through the season. It's November. You get through to the spring semester. What were your needs? What did you go out and recruit those people you talked about? How do you figure out all that, through this, where we are in these times in college athletics?
Yeah, I think it's just everything's changed. Like my first year here in 23, we started 7 freshmen, and we were building something we thought from the youth. And then a lot of the rule changes in the last couple of years have really altered college sports. And then with the rules, with the additional years of some NAI and junior colleges, some guys had extra years, and we had 2 players come back that had an extra year. And so we certainly want to retain our own guys and seek out others who want to be at Lindenwood or continue to play collegiate soccer. So I think that's changed a lot for us in how we did things, but we definitely filled needs of losses. We went from being a young team in 23 to older in 24, and I think we're going to be probably like most teams older as well again in 25. So I think that was a big difference between how we've kind of gone about it, but we're always trying to find balance so we don't have to continually bring in big classes every year.
Is it say we took a 6 or 7 year span, could that change? Could, like, one year you have a lot of freshmen and then the next year a lot of transfers, just depending. Are you looking for like who fits your system the best, maybe as opposed to a freshman or a transfer? Or how's that work?
Yeah, I don't think there's always we're going to bring 6 to 8 in every year, or we're always going to try and do this or that. I think sometimes you just take the best overall player when it's available, or you never know when an injury happens or someone transfers in or out. So you kind of just read the room a little bit, what the needs are, the timing. Some guys you maybe thought were going to be a 2 or 3 year project end up being great from day one. So I don't think there's ever something blanketed that we feel strongly about. But I don't typically want to turn the team over every year, but you recruit good players, and obviously they want to do big things, and so we're trying to compete to win the OVC and play in the NCAA tournament. Those are our goals, and just like everybody else in conference. So we're trying to find the best people first, and then hopefully they're great people on and off the field, and hopefully they're great players.
Yeah. For the casual fan, or even for the super Lindenwood fan, who are some people on your team that the public should be watching out for this season?
Yeah, I always like to highlight guys who are the older guys, the seniors who've been around the block, who've kind of, put the blood, sweat, and tears into the program. Guys like Josh Frincombe, Ethan Blake, Henrique Perestrello, those guys, even a year younger, Luke Neely. Those guys have been around the block, and they know what we're trying to do and how we do it. They're great ambassadors of the program. They wave the Lindenwood flag. They're great leaders, they're great culture guys. I personally enjoy being around them every day. These guys know I try and recruit great people that I personally want to be around and help them be successful on and off the field. And so, those guys, and there's other guys like Gavin Roberts and Mason Shale and so on that are also like, they probably a little bit of the unsung heroes and that do a lot behind the scenes as well.
What have you learned about this composition of OVC teams, 2 years into now, 3 years into this league? What is it, what you thought it would be? Like, what is the state of like OVC men's soccer heading into this year?
I think it's going to get harder and harder, and there's better coaches now than ever. The teams are getting better players. I think when you start playing teams more and more, you've been to their facility before, you understand the difficulties maybe of the travel, of the trip. You start to understand, wow, this is going to be harder than we think, or they know what we're trying to do and we know what they're trying to do. And so I really have a high respect level for the coaches across the conference. They're good people. They try and make it easy for us when we go to their place. We try and reciprocate that. And I think it's just a good respect level. But all the teams are getting better. They're hard to play against and well coached. And I think this league will be as hard as it's ever been in the 3 years.
So your background is a great segue to our next question. So this year you all get to host the OVC championship on your pitch. So just talk about that opportunity and people being in Lindenwood for this championship.
No, we're excited. I think anytime you get an opportunity to potentially compete in playoff games at your home field, whether it's our sport or a different sport, is always special on your own campus. And our stadium is amazing. The surface is amazing. The stadium's amazing. I mean, every single time an opponent comes, the first thing they do is start taking videos and pictures of everything, and they don't do that for poor setups, right? No, it's a really nice place. We got great opponent locker rooms. We have a great setup, lots of hotels, restaurants, shops all around town. We have 2 fields teams can train at, lights. It's a really, really nice setup. Surface plays out great. We've not had any complaints that I've heard of, but it's a really awesome place, and I think we're going to be good hosts hopefully for the OVC tournament.
Well, before we get to the OVC tournament, you got to play a non-conference schedule, right? And I'm looking at your schedule, and it's a good one again. And you got some really regional opponents. A team that's going to join the OVC next year on there too. Just walk us through and like how you put this schedule together and how it'll help your team.
Yeah, I think we always try and find games that are regionalized based. We always try and find games that are not going to just crush our budget with flights left and right. But we're trying to find teams that'll challenge us, diversify our experiences. We're trying to go to different places year to year. Last year, we spent 5-6 days in Utah, which is a wonderful bonding trip and 2 great opponents. We've been to other places, Ohio, Wisconsin, Chicago. And we're always trying to give our guys different off the field experiences, but obviously on the field experience, and teams that will play different styles so that we have to adapt and we got to adjust. Sometimes we try and have just a one-off, and other times we do home at homes because we always want to play a home game as much as we want to play a road game. And so a lot of these teams on our schedule this year, we've either played last year or we've played in the previous year. So I think they're going to know us, we're going to know them, and games will be even tighter because of that. And I think the games are going to be very challenging and hopefully prepare us the best we can for when OVC starts.
So now at the end of the year, we get through the OVC championship. Your team has officially finished the reclassification process and your Division 1. Just tell us about that. Like, I know it's a positive for everything you all do in recruiting, but just, getting through that now, like getting behind you and being eligible, what does that mean to your program?
Yeah, I go to first start with our administration. They're the ones who really made this happen. They have done such an unbelievable job trying to uplift all the sports and making sure that everybody's happy and great facilities and buttoned up every detail. And so our sport's no different. They immensely care about our sport here at the school and women's soccer and the other sports. And so we're pretty well taken care of. And so that allows us to just be us, and we're not struggling to pay for meals and this, that, and the other. We're able to compete at a Division 1 level and compete for championships. And so I think that ability to skip 1 year in the reclassification and being the first time it's ever happened in NCAA history is a real testament to the university, but also it allows our program to kind of have those shackles off, that even if we were to have won potentially the last 2 years, we couldn't compete in the tournament. And again, I feel poor for those student athletes at other schools that have potentially won their conference and not been able to compete. I mean, I feel personally that they've earned that right. And what's the difference if you've reclassified? If you're ready and you're good enough, you're good enough. So, but now it's hopefully us. I think Southern Indiana also reclassified. Hopefully, if us, and whoever wins the OVC this year is a great representation of the conference.
And how did when your team found the news, your players, how did they react to it?
I think they were excited. Like anytime you're sitting here being like, oh, it's still another year away. I've been here 2, 3, 4 years, and now it just allows us to be a program that's competing like just about every other program in Division 1. We have the same starting point as everybody, and we have the opportunity to have the same ending point. Will we get there? We have no idea. Only one team will win, obviously a national championship in the end, and only one team will win our OVC conference tournament. So there's a lot of unhappy programs, but at least we're sitting at the big boy table, and hopefully we're standing in the end.
Last question that we'll ask you. It's mid-August. From mid-August to the beginning of November, what are the 1 or 2 most important things that your team can do to put itself in a position to have postseason, regular season and postseason success?
Yeah, I love that question. I think one is health. Obviously, you're going to compete, hopefully healthy to start, and injuries happen, and you miss a couple of weeks, and you miss 4 or 5 games. It's a big gap, and then you maybe lose your starting spot. So obviously, health is a big thing for our program. It's growth. We have a lot of new faces in the locker room, but really receptive people to coaching and learning. And I think this week, our first week of preseason, has been massive to just keep trying to establish who we are, who we're going to be, who we're not. And that really helps us. And I think as we get a few non-conference games under our belt, we'll start identifying whether we're good at some things and not so good at these things. And I think that will allow us to kind of figure out where we are at. If we're 8-0, wonderful. If we're 0-8, we got to figure things out. And so hopefully we're healthy and we're a growth mindset, and we'll be competitive, and hopefully the best team standing at the end wins.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time today, and just best of luck to you and your program all season long.
Great. Thanks, Scott. Best to everyone else as well.